So last week, a sealed Retro Pack 1 booster box was auctioned off on eBay and it closed for a whopping $15,000. In today's video, we're going to be talking about what makes this box so rare, as well as how can a reprint set like this be as expensive as Legend of Blue Eye's first edition booster boxes. Let's get into it. Alright, so to start the video off, we're going to be talking about why I'm actually covering something like this. Retro Pack 1 booster boxes are the definition of extinct. These boxes just don't come up for sale. I personally have not seen one come up for sale since 2018. This box is extremely hard to find. So when it does come up for sale, I feel like it's more of an event, and I'm actually surprised how not a lot of people covered this. This box is one of the few boxes that I'm actually missing in my collection, and I actually bid on this as well, so I figured I'd give you my thought process on why I bid so much and how come I didn't win. So let's start off with the history. This set was released on July 8th, 2008, and it was exclusively released in Europe. This is actually a key factor in what makes this box rare. It just does not exist on the North American side. Now, sometimes you might have boxes that are exclusive to North America and not anywhere else, but because North America had such a huge audience compared to something like Europe, we got a lot more product in the United States, and because of this, the product is just not as rare as something that is exclusively European. If I was to compare Retro Pack 1 to an American release, it would probably be something like Dark Revelation 4 or something like Dark Legends. I would actually say Dark Legends is pretty much an identical equivalent to the Retro Pack 1. It has pretty much the exact same cards for the most part. But what makes Retro Pack 1 stand out above Dark Legends is the secret rare cards. And that's what we're going to get to now, because this is what makes Retro Pack 1 so expensive. And what it did was it basically reprinted all of the Shonen Jump promos around that time as secret rares. So we got things like Copycat, Cyber Harpy Lady, Blast Sphere, as well as other cards like Relieve Monster, etc. These cards were released in Shonen Jump magazines as ultra rares on the North American side, and when they were brought over to the European side, they were put out as secret rares. Now, most of those cards all range in the $300 to $400 range. However, there are two standouts, which are Copycat as well as Cyber Harpy Lady. Copycat can go all the way up to $2,000 and Cyber Harpy can go all the way up to $3,000 for a good condition copy in the English language. Retro Pack 1 does have other language variations, however none of them are as expensive as Retro Pack 1 in English. However, even foreign language Cyber Harpy Ladies can go all the way up to $1,000, which is kind of ridiculous because there's no other foreign cards that can hit these types of prices. If I was to rank them based on rarity, I would definitely say the English language and the French language are the highest rarity, and then the Italian and the German are a couple notches below that. However, sealed booster packs are very hard to find and they go for around $300 when they do come up for sale, with the English ones reaching all the way up to like $800. Now, the thing about Retro Pack 1 is that it's not only the secrets that are very expensive, but the ultras and some of the super rares are as well. A lot of people consider, for example, Scapegoat from Retro Pack 1 to be a max rarity card. This means that every single person who wants to bling out their GOAT deck requires a Retro Pack 1 Scapegoat, and that puts it at secret rare prices. So Scapegoat can go all the way up to $800 in really good condition, which is just nuts for a card that can be had from Starter Deck Joey. Some other prominent ultra rares alongside Scapegoat are Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician, Red Eyes, Exodia. All of those really iconic cards come as ultra rares in Retro Pack 1, and every single one of them is at least $500. In terms of super rares, there aren't too many super expensive cards, but pretty much every single super rare from this set goes for around $100. If you find them for under that in really good condition, I would suggest you pick it up, because in my opinion, that's kind of a bargain for just how rare the product is. But if I was to pick one super rare to be my pick for this set, it would definitely be La Jinn, because that is one of the highest rarities for this card, and it's actually rare. It's not only just a high rarity in terms of the super rare, this card is just hard to find. But that's the ultras and the supers. Now I want to focus on the secret rares, which is the bread and butter of this set. This set features 10 secret rares. There's Copycat, Cyber Harpy Lady, Blast Sphere, as well as Relieve Monster that I named earlier, but it also has Kaiba Man, Cloning, Amazoness Chainmaster, Embodiment of Apophis, Exchange of Spirit, as well as Ancient Lamp. And again, every single one of these is at least $300 to $400. The main monster cards being around that $1,000 mark, like Copycat, Amazoness Swordswoman, and then Cyber Harpy Lady, because it's a waifu card or something, I have no idea why, it's just way above everything else. So that's my coverage of the set list. Unfortunately, I have not completed the set myself, so I can't show you it in binder form. So best believe whenever I do complete it, I'll be showing it to you guys. So make sure you're subscribed for that. So the set list is one aspect that makes this set so collectible, but there's also another aspect, which is card stock itself. So Retro Pack 1 as well as Retro Pack 2 European are notorious for having edgeware and chipping on the corners right out of the pack. Like, there is nothing that comes close to these two sets when it comes to just how poorly made they are in terms of card stock. They fall apart if you just breathe on them. It is very similar to the Shadow of Infinity Elemental Energy era from the GX European side. Those cards, they have a lot of issues. Retro Pack 1 and Retro Pack 2 European have a ridiculous amount of issues. Like, it is unbelievable. Every single PSA 10 that is in existence, including the two that I own, I would not consider PSA 10s. If I was to resub my own PSA 10s, they'll probably get PSA 8s, maybe PSA 9s at best. They suffer from serious issues. I'm not sure why the printers in Europe are like this, but Retro Pack 1 and Retro Pack 2 European suffer greatly from this. One last thing that I think adds a little bit of flavor for this set is the pack art. To me, I think that this is probably the best pack art out of anything that was released in Yu-Gi-Oh! It has Blue Eyes, Red Eyes, and Dark Magician on the cover, as well as Yugi in his LOB pose. In my opinion, I think that this is the best pack art out there, and I don't really think anything comes even close. So that's the set overview. Now let's get into my thoughts on the past auction, why I chose to bid, and why I ended up losing. So this Retro Pack 1 box was a 7-day auction, and it opened up right from the get-go at $2,600 from the first few bidders. I actually put in $10,000 bid and I just left it there. I was just wanting to see where the market will go with this, because we haven't really seen one of these in over 3-4 years. And the $10,000 bid stayed until like the last day, and then it got beat. Now during those 7 days before the last day, I spent my time kind of either gathering up the money to be able to pay for this if I won. And the second thing that I was doing is considering how much am I willing to really spend on this before I think it's like too expensive. If you don't know, LOB Blue Eyes boxes fell down to $15,000 to $20,000, and that is pretty much the creme de la creme of Yu-Gi-Oh collecting. So to me, it was kind of very difficult to measure just how much this rarity of this box give it value on top of like the base set of Yu-Gi-Oh. So I came to the number of 15,000. My math was, okay, there's $500. I multiply by 24 packs. We have $12,000 automatically. Okay, and then we have a sealed premium because it's a booster box. You know, it's very rare. I figured, okay, let me just go another 25% on top. I thought $15,000 would be a fair market value for this box. Usually I wouldn't add so much of a premium, especially if it's a box that comes up for sale very often, but because this one's a lot rarer, I gave it that extra 25% bump. I was willing to go a little bit higher, however, all the way up to like 60, maybe 1650, another like 10%. And the reason was because I knew that I wasn't going to really see this box again for a very long time. I actually just got my salary from the company for the past year. I only pay myself like at the end of the year. So since it's January, I got a big fat paycheck for a whole year that I was able to spend on whatever I wanted. And that included this Retro Pack 1 box. So again, the situation allowed me to go a little bit further. However, I decided to stay at 15,000 only. And the main reason that I chose to do this was because of the way that the auction was hosted. So in the auction area, if you clicked on bids, you would actually see that all of the buyers who were bidding had their identities protected. What I mean by this is all of the people who were bidding on this auction were private. We don't really know how much feedback they have or if they are real accounts. When a buyer's identity is protected, I don't feel as confident or as secure in my bids because I don't know who's on the other side. I don't know if somebody's shilling the item, if they're not intending to pay. It's like, why am I paying extra when there's nobody that's intending to compete with me? And because of this, I had to stick to my guns. I was like, okay, I valued it at 15,000. That's as high as I will go. And then somebody bid me $100 on top and they ended up getting the item. Did they pay for it? I have no idea. But if this does get relisted, I am definitely dropping that evaluation down because at that point, I just don't value it as much because the rest of the market doesn't value it as much. But do I think that the person who got it for $15,100 got a fair deal? In my opinion, I think they did. I think that this is just about right in terms of price. I think it competes with LOB box because it's just that much rarer. Do I think that most people would rather have this over LOB box? Hell no. I mean, you'll find hundreds of people who are willing to pay $15,000 for an LOB box. You will not find too many people, aside from Yu-Gi-Oh nerds like myself, willing to pay that $15,000 for a Retro Pack 1 box. It is definitely super niche. It is definitely not for everybody, and I totally understand why it went for so much, but at the same time it didn't go for so much. You would think that a box that's appeared once every 4 years should be going for like $50,000, right? But it is a reprint set after all. It's nothing too special. It's a European exclusive. It's not really a North American release. North American people have no nostalgia to it, so I totally understand why it was held back, but at the same time it's, you know, $15,000. That's a lot of money. So yeah, that's my coverage on the Retro Pack 1 auction sale. It was a huge event in my opinion. It was a huge event on my Discord. A lot of people were talking about it. They were trying to guess what it would end at. My guess was at best $20,000 and at worst it would be $12,000, and I hit it about right in between. Overall, I think Retro Pack 1 is a great set. I don't think it's a staple like something like Premium Pack 1 or 2 or Tournament Pack, but it is definitely a great reprint set that has a lot of collector value in it. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, and comment down below if you think that this set is overvalued, undervalued, or appropriately valued. If you want to support the channel further, I have a Patreon and you can use the links in the description to shop. I have my own Gardner binders that I make myself. They're extremely high quality and you'd be supporting the channel. I'm also going to link in the description as well as the pinned comment the cheapest place where you can pick up these Retro Pack 1 cards if you decide you want to add them to your collection. That's it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed and I hope you learned something. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.